Hello and welcome back. In the previous video in the series, we showed you how to take the data set where you joined your spreadsheet, and we showed you how to clean up that data set. We showed you how to remove any unwanted columns, and we also showed you how to remove any features from the data set that you're not interested in. And we then uploaded that clean data set to Mango. Now we have that data in Mango, we're going to build upon it, and I'm going to show you how you can clean things up in Mango and how you can add additional layers to your map in order to show the various visualizations that were available in the demo that I showed you earlier in the series. So you remember earlier in the series, when we click on a feature, we get a nice clean info window like this, and we also have supplemental layers such as population and household income. So let's go back to the Mango administration panel and let's see how we can build upon this map. Now the first thing that we want to do is let's change some of the styling for this first layer. So to do that, we're going to go into layers, then we're going to go to the settings for the sales layer. Now what I'd like to do is I would like to add some transparency to the fill so that we can clearly see the background map. So I'm going to change the opacity to 70%. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to configure the pop-up that's displayed when we click on a county. Now the basic pop-up setting, which is default, is just going to list all of the attributes and their values. But I think what we'd like to do is we'd like to clean that up a little. So what we're going to do first is we're going to have a look at the formatting. So the GeoID, that's important for us when we're doing administrative tasks such as joins, but isn't really important to the end user. So we're gonna hide that feature. The second thing that we're going to look at is the name. So let's capitalize that. Now in the formatting, you can have auto detect, which means Mango will decide for you what value it is, what type of value it is, whether it's text or a date or a number value. The next one we have is sales. And then we have population, and we have medium household income. Now medium household income is a dollar value, so I'm going to select dollars, and then the formatting inside Mango will show that as a dollar value. Okay, the next step is I want to edit. We're going to use a custom pop-up. A custom pop-up allows us to completely modify how the pop-up will look. We can use an editor in order to change the formatting, and we can also do things like include charts, videos, images, and links. We're going to keep it simple for this one. For the name, we're just going to use the county name. And then what we're going to do is we're going to display this data in a table. So we'll go to Insert Table. We are going to have 3 rows and 2 columns. Insert, and we're going to have the first row is called sales, and we're going to insert the sales value. So when you see in curly braces like this just means it inserts a variable, and we can see a preview of what it will look like here. The second one will be population, and we'll insert the population value in that cell, and then the last one will be median household income, and once again we'll insert that as an attribute, and we don't need these ones down here anymore. Let's just move that back up, and as we can see now we have the name of the county in the top, and then we have a nice clean table. So let's press save and save again. As we can see, we now have transparency on the sales layer, so we can see the underlying base map. And also, if we click on one of the features, here we have Bexar County, and now we can see the attribute data formatted as a nice table. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to show the additional layers, the average household income and also the population data. So to do that, we click on Layers, we click Add Layer. Now we don't need to upload the data set again, we can just use the data set that we've already previously uploaded. So using the same data set, we want to give it a different name. So we're going to make another layer for population. So we'll just call that population. And then for the style, we also want to use a quantity legend. And for the class breaks, we're going to use the population value. And for the color ramp, we obviously want to use a different color so that it doesn't clash with the red ramp that we're using for the sales data. So let's choose blue. We'll give the outline a dark gray color again. And one other thing that we want to do, we've already configured the pop-up for the sales data. Now, when we have multiple layers stacked up on top of each other, when we click on the map, it will open a pop-up for each one of those layers. Now, as the sales data, the population data, and the income data all contain the same attribute data, we don't need a pop-up for each one. So we're going to configure no pop-up, and then we're going to press save. Now, as you can see, we now have the population data, but the problem is we can't turn off the population data to see the sales data. So what we need to do is we need to use a layer group. So we go to layers and we press add layer group. Now, a layer group is a group of one or more layers that can be turned on or off in the legend. So we're going to drag the population layer up into that layer group, and then we'll see that the map automatically gets updated. And now we have the sales data and the population data in different layer groups, so they can be turned off separately in the legend. So now we just need to add the average household income data. So once again, we go into layer settings, we press add layer. We choose the sales data again. And this time, let's call this layer median household income. For the style, it's going to be a quantity legend again. We're going to use the income column, and we're going to choose a color ramp that we haven't used already. Let's go with a green. I'm going to change the outline to a dark gray so it's consistent with the other layers. And once again, I'm going to disable the pop-up for this layer. So now I press save. And now, as you can see, once again, it's put them in the same layer group. So we're going to add one more layer group. And we're going to move that medium household income layer into its own layer group. And now, as you can see, we now have the median household income. So now our map's starting to take shape, and it's looking similar to the demo map that we showed to you at the beginning of this video series. The one thing that we've got left to add is adding the points of our dealership locations and also adding the query tool, and we'll be doing that in the next video.